Welcome to Turn a Page, the official comic book club for Nerd Initiative. Each week, the NI Bullpen will be covering the world of comics, talking to creators, deep diving into some fantastic stories, and much more. Now let's hand it over to the team and turn a page.
And what is going on, everyone? It is Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you are tuned in to Nerd Initiative's YouTube and streaming services for another edition of Turn a Page, the official comic book club for Nerd Initiative. My name is Ken M. You know me as the host of the ODPH podcast, but I'm also Nerd Initiative's comics editor-in-chief. To my left, you're right at home because it's in his contract. He does his own intro.
I don't know. Should I do it? Like, I'm so excited because what it is. But coming at you live direct, straight from a folding chair in the ODPH studios. My name is Off the Cuff Tom, Nerd Initiative's pop culture connoisseur. And you know what time it is. It's time for me to say, it's Morphin time!
Yes, folks. We are letting Tom loose with some Power Rangers talk. But before we get into that, we have to introduce our other co-host. You know him as one half of the dynamic duo of Drafts and Dialogue, bringing you that pop culture knowledge you need to know each and every week with a great beverage in hand. It's the one only Matt from Hops Geeks News. Matt, what is going on?
It's Godzilla!
Godzilla!
Yes.
Godzilla!
Yes, we are back. I am here. Allergies be damned. We are going to talk two of my favorite things. I know Tom is more the Power Rangers, but man, do I love some Godzilla.
Yes. This is a great time of year because we have so many new books that came out, and one of which just debuted at the comic shops, and that is a sequel to the book that we're going to be discussing tonight, kind of burying the lead a little bit, and is from IDW Publishing and Boom Studios, and that is Godzilla vs. the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 2, which just came out. The review is up at nerdinitiative.com. It's right there on the screen. Like I say, that cover art is just fantastic. And if you have not deep dived into the series, well, guess what? That is what we're going to be talking about tonight. We are going to be breaking down Volume 1 of Godzilla vs. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So how we're going to be doing this is like we do each and every time in Nerd Initiatives Turn a Page. Chat, super chat, make your voice heard. Have you picked this book up? Are you Godzilla fans, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers? Who do you pick to win this fight?
The fans.
Yes.
Fans.
We are going to give you our spoiler-free statement about the series, and then we're going to do a deep dive into everything about this book. So if you haven't seen it or haven't read it for whatever reason, make sure you fix that because we do have that nice comic book shop locator QR code that you'll see pop up on the screen, and definitely make sure you head to your comic shops after here to go pick that up. But obviously, if we're talking Power Rangers, I have to defer to the Power Rangers aficionado himself. Tom, give your spoiler-free statement about Godzilla vs. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Volume 1.
This was pure fun. And honest to goodness was just pure fun. We've had some Power Rangers crossovers. We've had a lot of things going on. And the one thing I got to say that I do like about crossovers, whether it is with Godzilla, whether it's with Godzilla Part 2, whether it's both ones that we've done with the Turtles, of which Ryan, we can chat about that some other time. Mm-hmm. Shameless plug. It's fun. It's pure fun. There's nothing too heavy, too serious. This is not in canon with anything else. This is not going to ruin Kyle Higgins' run. It's not going to mess up Ryan Parrott's run. It's not going to screw up what Missy's doing. It's not going to go against anything in the extended universes. It is just right there as it is in its own little bubble, and it's just have fun with it. Don't take it too seriously. Everybody always expects when there's a Power Rangers thing that comes out, what's Tom going to say about it this time? I mean, do I really bag on Power Rangers?
Oh, no, you have something to say about it. That's what we're all waiting about. Let us be honest about this.
But I'm not going to bag on it because simply for the fact that I love my franchise. Could it do better in some things? Yeah, that's any franchise. But at the end of the day, it's pure fun and enjoy it for what it's worth, man.
Fair enough. Matt, how about you?
I mean, Tom took the words out of my mouth, but comic books are meant to be fun. And this is a comic book that reminds you of just how much fun it transports you back to when we were younger and we're living in this Godzilla Power Rangers era. We get to see like two Titan franchises collide. And man, it just rips from page to page. There's so much glorious, beautiful, like everybody gets their time to shine, whether it's Tommy, the Power Rangers, the Megazords, the Dragonzord, Godzilla himself, like everybody gets their fair chance. And you see so many different villains from both sides that you're just like every page, you're like, oh, that's this one. That's this one. Oh, it's Scorpina. Like it rips, man.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, the one thing that we as comic book fans get to enjoy is when you see two different fandoms cross over when they happen. And we always try to treat them as a very special event because it should be. And obviously, Godzilla, who is in a renaissance right now, as we're talking about with the brand new movies that
Good
came out.
word.
Thank you. I mean, between Godzilla minus one of the greatest films of all time, and Godzilla vs. Kong, which is just popcorn blockbuster fun. If you want to check out a review of that, obviously check out 3FM Podcast. Gotta give those guys a plug for that.
Yeah.
To make sure that we as fans get to enjoy these moments, because when you see that going on and then you see the Power Ranger stuff that has been going on left and right, just coming off the 30th anniversary year, and with what is going on at the comic shops too, with the Darkest Hour and everything that has been spiraling out of that fantastic story, it's such a time to see these fandoms come together. And thus we get the sequel, but the first one that laid the groundwork really just gave us as comic readers just a fun read and really celebrating the best of both fandoms. And that's what you want to take away anytime you see characters like this crossover. And I really think they hit it right out of the park with it. And I think that obviously it generated enough buzz that we got a great sequel that just came out via IDW Publishing and Boom Studios last week. So the number one is out right now. Like I said, the review is up on nerdinitiative.com. Make sure to go check that out. But yeah, let us deep dive into this book. And I mean, kicking off right at the beginning, obviously you have Rita Repulsa doing some things here. Tom, do you want to break the scene down?
So what we got going on with Rita right here, I mean, first and foremost, she has found some sort of monastery, and I have really gone through my Power Rangers history and knowledge, and I think this is just a standalone kind of thing. She has found a new power source to be able to control reality and jump through dimensions. So she decides to, do her thing. She has slaughtered all the monks. It is some bad stuff. And then good old Tommy Oliver, Green Ranger, shows up to, thwart their plans. But he was actually there on a recon mission. Then he realized, all right, I got to step in and fix this. And then Rita zaps everybody out. And long story short, they go to a new universe. They end up in Angel Grove.
Mm-hmm.
But they end up in Angel Grove that has no Rangers.
Yeah.
And we're not talking like World of the Coinless if we're talking comic books, the other ones. Again, this whole story is in its own bubble, its own little separate universe, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously, seeing what is transpiring, they know they're not in Angel Grove like they normally are.
We're not in Angel Grove anymore.
No. And then, obviously, who is the first person they see, or first, I guess, creatures they see, Tom?
It's going to be Godzilla, and I believe
Gigan.
Matt. Thank you.
Yeah. Matt, when you're seeing this unfold, I mean, what's the first thing going through your head?
Godzilla has not once skipped leg day. Look at those beefy thighs, baby. He's ready to take it all on. And it's honestly awesome because it's very easy to just like the first right off the bat thing be, oh, Godzilla's going to face one of like it's like Rodan or somebody that a lot of people would know. Not saying that nobody knows who Gigan is because he's appeared in movies so many times, but right off the bat, we kind of get a deeper cut. And dude, it's just like this collide. The colors are beautiful. I mean, look at the lettering around Godzilla there and around Gigan. Like, oh, you could just hear the roar in your ears just through your eye. Oh, it's amazing.
It's an onomatopoeia. It is a perfect onomatopoeia.
Yeah, no, it absolutely hits all the marks that it needs to. And especially, too, you get that big fight feel right off the gate. So when Rita and company are on the new Angel Grove, they're like, wait, what's going on? And then you see it all transpire as Godzilla is there. And they don't really know what to expect, too, because we do get a little bit of a visitors, shall we say, that come crash the party. And once they come there, I mean, Rita and company are beamed up. And it's kind of an odd circumstance because Godzilla does have enemies, but do we really think we're going to see any aliens here, Matt?
I mean, you didn't really think so. I was thinking like the only aliens we'd really get would be maybe from Rita's side, honestly, is what I kind of figured would happen. Like somehow they'd wake Godzilla up when I'm initially seeing this crossover and Godzilla would be transported to our universe, our universe. So I was pleasantly surprised to be like, oh, they're in their bag. Like Cullen, Bunn, the whole crew, like Freddie, they are all in their bag on this one. And we're in for a treat.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Tom.
I mean, having the Zillions or Zalians or the Star People, as I know they were also referred to in other Godzilla franchises or in the Godzilla franchise, is a great callback. You know, that's the other fun part about having one of these crossovers. When you have, what, Godzilla's turning 60 this year?
Yeah.
About 60 years old, and with Rangers being 30 years old, you have a big sandbox to play with. And the fact that we're going to pick this right out from the front is smart. It is really smart because the idea to add this in adds an extra layer. It's a nice buffer. It gives you something to write out, especially have to go over 5 issues. It's something good to thwart, to work off of, to play, to bounce. It made sense because if you didn't have it in there, it's like, oh, after 10,000 years, I'm free. Look, I'm in another universe. I will take over the monsters. Oh no, Megazord powered now. Done. 22 minutes, one book.
Yeah. But no, just to see how it's all transpiring too, especially when the uneasy alliances formed. I mean, this is true villainy meets villainy.
See, now I don't think it's villainy meets villainy. I think Rita whipped it out and said, I'm here. Deal with it.
Well, I mean, she is the one that has the mysterious artifact that's caused this whole issue.
True, but I really don't think that. I think that it's not enemy on enemy. I even don't think it's an uneasy alliance. I really just think it's, I'm here, deal with it, or don't.
Yeah.
Because I could see her just wiping them all out.
Well, I mean, that's where they're kind of cutting the deal, but you obviously know Rita is up to no good no matter what she's doing. So there's always that factor in play. So once you see this all kind of transpire, that she's cutting the deal, like, well, if you take care of your enemies, I'll take care of mine. But she also is dealing with, oh, you have monsters on this planet. And it's just such a play that goes in because obviously if there's monsters to be involved, Rita is an expert in that field. Mm-hmm. But then you also have the X factor, if you will, of Tommy Oliver, because once he shows up on this new Earth, well, he knows that something is wrong and sees this big monster just destroying the town. So he decides to unleash the Dragon Zord.
It's Dragon Zord time! Yeah!
Boo,
Yeah!
boo,
Yeah!
boo, 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 boo.
If anybody noticed, I actually have my Dragon Dagger here. Unfortunately, I took the batteries out of it for safety purposes, so it doesn't play the sound right now.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Why
Don't
is
worry,
it a
I
guy
got
with
you.
a metal with a metal face with a
How does he blow into this
Let's
flute?
do
Like, what's his secret?
Yeah.
that sounds like a trumpet?
I mean, it's a crazy scenario to see play out, but then you get the first real big heavyweight bout here because once you're seeing the Dragon Zord go to town and you just see this knockdown, drag out fight, it's always, I mean, this is the big popcorn feel that we talk about. Like, this is Hollywood blockbuster action going on. And then all the while, too, you're seeing Rita is trying to take control of Godzilla.
Okay, now before we go here, this is where I'm going to start tangenting.
Oh,
Okay,
boy. The thoughts, views, and opinions of that of Tom or Representative Tom and Tom alone.
and they are off the cuff.
Yes.
Theo did. So one thing I have to gripe about here is the Dragon Zord comes out of the Water Ranger Grove. We know that happens in Power Rangers when you call the Dragon Zord. Later in the book, when the Power Sword gets called, because that's going to happen because it's Power Rangers, let's be honest, it comes through a dimensional rift. Rita decides to go to a universe that doesn't have Rangers. What the F is the Dragon
was
Zord
thinking
doing
that same
in the
thing.
middle of the water of Angel Goddamn
I was
Grove?
very curious as to how the Dragon Zord appeared here because they're in a different dimension. So I was like, wait a second.
Now, could it have come through a dimensional rift into the Angel Grove Bay? Sure, why not? Because, Ken?
Reasons.
Thank you. But I'm just saying, that's one tiny, there's my first Power Ranger gripe. There you go. Next.
Hey, but I mean, that's the whole thing about it is you kind of have to suspend that realism because if you're talking about the two different fandoms, one, you could argue one cancels one out. So when you have loopholes like this, they're perfectly fine.
Look, I'm
There's
willing to
reasons.
look the
Yeah, well,
other
that's
way,
why-
as I will most often do.
Oh, yeah. Like, I definitely was here
How
for
does
that.
Dominic Toretto go to space? I don't know. They just do. Just deal with it.
With family.
Well, it's family.
And Bull,
We all know
guess
that.
what?
That's the power that drives
The
them.
Dragon Zord is family. There you go.
Yes. It solves everything. But as the fight continues on, I mean, you just see so much big action here. And Freddie Williams and company
Huge
just
action.
really just make sure to drive that point home. Like I say, when you start seeing like scenes like this play out, and you're just seeing Godzilla is just holding his own against the Dragon Zord, even though he's unloading everything. And then this shot right here, where the Dragon Zord is just eradicated, for lack of a better term, and Tommy is just sitting there watching it just get destroyed. I mean, Tom, what are you thinking as you're watching this all unfold?
This is one of those few times I'm glad Tommy wasn't in the cockpit. Like, I can probably count on two hands how many times Tommy has been in the cockpit in the Dragon Zord. But I'm not surprised this happened. I'm sorry, but I will definitely, as much as I'm a Power Ranger fan, Godzilla is Godzilla. He is the king of monsters for a reason, and this is the reason why. Now, obviously, being Power Rangers, it's like, well, what can we do to overcome and get to the next Power Sword? I'm sorry, I'm just going to make fun of Power Rangers a little bit just for fun right now. But I was banking on Godzilla to at least have the first round knockout, and he did it.
Yeah. So this is a situation too.
God,
like I
weird.
say, Matt, when you're watching this unfold, I mean, what's going through your head about this?
Oh, it's pretty too. It's real pretty.
Oh, this amazing artwork.
What's going through my head are things that I cannot say about the guy in the chair's comment in regards to Rhea Ripley at the moment. But yeah, I was expecting a quick, swift knockout, and it wasn't as quick as I would have expected. But again, I got big monsters slapping big monster meaty meats, so that is all I could have asked for. Again, I have like no complaints. I have a couple minor complaints that we'll get to at the end, but I'm here for the fun, man. And I am just every page more, and it just more.
Yeah. Like I say, Godzilla does the best Rhea Ripley impersonation and just eradicates the Dragon Zord.
She can
And you see
eradicate
Tommy's
me.
just face as it just completely goes off there. And then the Power Rangers show up. And that final scene of chapter 1 here, where you just have the dinosaur power get yelled and Godzilla just doesn't even blink.
Nope.
Like, this is a mic drop moment right here, and really sets the tone, I think, for the rest of the book, because even though they're technically on the same side, Godzilla's not backing down.
Is Godzilla ever really on someone's side? Godzilla's out there.
Godzilla serves himself.
Godzilla's always the wild
Yeah.
card.
Well, he is. He's definitely the wild card of all. But still, just the fact that it's just the defiant stare of just like, is this all you
Next.
have? You know, it's almost like that scene from Gladiator. Is this your king?
Oh, are
Or,
you
I mean,
not
from Black Panther.
entertained?
Yeah. Or are you not entertained? Yeah. Like I say, like this is the question here, because he's just standing there ready to go. So then as we kick on to the next chapter, I mean, that's just chapter 1 too. We got to remember that as we see it unfold. And then whenever we jump into chapter 2, like this is where, business is picking up, because obviously the Rangers have to do what, Tom?
Oh, they got to bring them together. I mean, it's time for Megazord power now.
Godzilla literally eats a punch.
Yeah. And doesn't even blink.
Nope.
Yeah.
Like, how crazy is that? That you just, the best shot is taken and he's just eats it like nothing happened. Like, it's a wild, like, to see that happen too. You think, okay, the Power Rangers are going to be able to hold their own, Matt, but then you see just Godzilla takes their best shot and it's just like, that's it.
Godzilla is the tribal chief, okay? First and foremost, he is the head of the table, and I was rooting for Godzilla the entire time. Like, I'm over here like flipping pages like, die Rangers, die. And I'm like, wait a second, they're all supposed to be ultimately on the same team somehow. Sorry, I got ahead of myself there. My bad, but yes.
No, it's quite all right, because super chat, we need to know, who is your pick? Who are you taking? Are you Team Godzilla or Team Rangers? I want to see those hashtags pop up in the chat. And like, I have to agree, like, this is just one of those situations where you're just seeing this fight break out. And this is just like we say, when you talk about big action, like, this book really delivers on it.
Oh yeah. I mean, and what's also nice is when you're looking at this, it's one of the few times you'll see the Megazord use the cranial laser.
Yeah.
It's very rare that it uses. But let's not forget also the side story that's going on here too. As much as we're having big old Megazord kaiju fight, on the flip side, while the Dragon Zord is down and out, Tommy is also fighting Goldar because, Rita being Rita, she's always got a second agenda. And Tommy does get captured at the same
Always.
time. Because, Goldar comes up.
Yeah. So while that's all going on, you're still seeing that fight break out. And just the action keeps revving up too, because once they pull the sword out, we have this moment.
Through a dimensional rift.
Doesn't matter still. Its business is booming right now. And you just see that Superman Doomsday shot right here where everybody just unloads on each other here. So you see Godzilla get impaled by the Mighty Morphin sword.
Yep.
And then you see the eradication yet again of another Zord.
Yeah.
So, Matt, when you're watching this, I mean, talk about this scene.
I don't think like this is one of the art across like all these comics are very, very good, but I don't think enough is like stated in this particular run just how freaking good the artwork is. Like the level of detail within every little lightning bolt, a fight sequence, just insane. There's little fragments coming off, man. It's just the coloring, for instance. Like you even got your little reds amongst all the blues and the light. It's just absolutely gorgeous, man. This is a visually gorgeous. And then of course Godzilla gets his. There's always if everybody knows Godzilla, he's going to go down at some point, but he's always going to recharge and he's always going to get back up and he's always going to finish the story.
Very true. Because during this time too, it shifts away a little bit from Godzilla as he's recovering, because the Zalians have now taken Tommy, as like Tom alluded to.
Yep.
And they're kind of cruising away a little bit, leaving Godzilla technically for dead. And then you have, obviously, the Rangers have to separate from their Zord. And they do what, Tom?
They abandon ship. They totally abandon ship. And it's smart. If Godzilla's down, it makes more sense that the auto repair sequences work on the Dino Zords themselves, not the Megazord as a whole. So to have to take a break, stay a little incognito mode, unmorph, it made sense. There's no point in just sitting in your cockpit waiting to charge. It's not a Tesla.
Mm-hmm. No, you definitely see all that happen. And it makes perfect sense because, like I say, the Rangers have to separate to regroup. They go try saving the people that are in this new Angel Grove, which we have to remember too. With all the monster movies we've ever seen during time, it's always forgotten that there's civilians all around and there's casualties everywhere.
That was my biggest gripe with the last Godzilla movie with Godzilla and Kong, man. I'm sorry, but there was too much for me gratuitous violence is wrong, but gratuitous property damage.
Good sir, you just wait, because at this point we lost Rio de Janeiro, we lost Hong Kong, San Francisco, parts of Rome have been taken out, and then Boston's gone. Like, oh man, Godzilla's just out here.
Boston, it's all right. It's
Godzilla's out here just population controlling the earth.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it's a nice thing that they decided to go and talk about, everybody who's affected by it. All we ever see is the little scenes in the Godzilla, run, Godzilla. It's nice that they acknowledge it in the book that there are still people that are displaced from all this. So it's a
good time to be a construction worker.
I'm good with it.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's like I say, you see like in Marvel, they have damage control and it kind of clears up a lot of this. We don't have that here. But we do see the heroes doing what they do best, and that's right. They try saving everybody that they can. And this also buys a little time because they do wind up taking a prisoner, so to speak, and they start interviewing one of the aliens, or interrogating, I should say. And during this, they get the drop about what's happening here.
Yep.
And that's something that they really needed because honestly, I think that they were the most caught off guard of everybody during this whole story, that the Rangers were on their defensive for the majority of this.
Yeah, they really were on their back foot the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at Jason, Kimberly, Zach, Trini, and Velma.
Yeah, like I said.
I'm sorry, Billy just looks terrible.
Yeah, Billy doesn't look like Billy too much in this.
They made Billy really jacked in the suit and everything. It was kind of funny.
But unmorphed, it looks like Velma. It's Velma. It's Velma.
It's the hairstyle. It's the hairstyle.
Anyway, that's the stuff I'll get into later.
Yeah, but as we see, they get the tip off of where they need to go. They wind up crashing the ship, and another fight breaks out. Which, I mean, we expect. If you're coming in for like a really deep, long plot, you're not getting it because this is just all action. Which for me as a reader, I dug because this is what I wanted to see when I jumped into this. And obviously, they start breaking out, and obviously, Rita is holding her own because, well, she has a lot of the power right now because what she has in their staff. The artifact has caused the whole multi-dimensional rift. And this is now allowing for other monsters to be involved. And we do see the Rangers' reaction as one is now jumping in the scene too, which, like I say, this is where, like, for, being an old-time Godzilla fan, like, I love seeing all these different monsters come out and just seeing the different reactions take place because you not only get one, but by the time it's all said and done, even though the Rangers are trying their best to fight back, this is all in a losing battle. Mm-hmm. And they just wind up getting taken out by, Gigan, Eye Guy, and Rhino Blaster. Because, like, literally, that's the last three that are standing there at the end. and there's no easy way out because like they can't handle what is all unfolding here. And I mean, Matt, when you're seeing this, I'll just go to right to the end of chapter 2. What is your reaction to
Oh
this?
man, I'm popping. I'm like, I'm losing it honestly, because you're just like, obviously the Rangers aren't going to lose, but they do a great job being like, this is not an easy fight, man. Like they are getting their butts whooped throughout this entire 5-issue run, and again, visually pleasing. I like you're really immersed. Immersed is like the easiest word that I can use to explain how I feel with this comic book.
Yeah, I mean, Tom.
I'm happy. I'm really happy. It doesn't matter whether it's Ranger happy or Kaiju happy. I am just happy. One thing that I did really like is the fact that when they do the zoom in on the Rangers' helmets, you still see their eye behind the visor. That's a big thing I liked. It gave me really big vibes, especially with some of the broken helmet themes you would always get near these season finales and the old Saban stuff. So that was fun too.
Yeah. No, they did so much to just really give this book a different feel. And really, like I say, I love the stuff they did with the visors too, because you need that facial reaction of what's unfolding.
Sure.
And especially, we often forget the Rangers are young teenagers.
With attitude.
Yes. But to see like how they handle all these gigantic creatures tearing up their hometown, like that's a lot to deal with, especially for a young age. And then as we go, start going into the next round, well, business is starting to get a little more booming, shall we say? Because
Everybody's involved.
the worst nightmare is unfolding because the Rangers are sitting there trying to stop everybody, and they're just absolutely getting destroyed. And you're just seeing Rita is now trying to control Tommy yet again, which I mean we've seen before a couple times.
It's mine. It's mine. No. Rita's not taking control of me. It's mine.
Yes.
It's my morpher. It's my
Yeah.
precious.
But while this is happening, she's now coming to terms that she can have more monsters for her control. I mean, Tom, why don't you break that scene down?
Okay, so what Rita really likes the fact that these monsters are just brought in. They're brought off the bench by the Zillions or Zalians or whatever.
Xylians.
Xylophonans. And that's kind of neat to her because 9 out of 10 times it's always Finster has to make a monster. Finster has to grow it. Finster has to bake it. Finster has to shape it, put it in the mold, the whole nine. It's like the easy bake monster oven that Finster's got going up on the moon. So the idea of having these totally chaotic monsters under her control, dude, it's like why need Indeed.com? I've just got these guys. Just call them up.
Yeah. Like it's a really cool scenario to see play out too. I mean, Matt, when you're seeing this too, like just that image right there on the screen too, with all the monsters now heading into Angel Grove, and just that idea that just Rita's face haunting there. Like, what does that set in the tempo?
Man,
for?
it's Avengers Endgame, right? It's the two armies going at each other. It's just ultimate, just crowd pleasing. Yeah, we're here for this. We're in the end game now. Things are getting real, and monsters that you didn't think you'd see in a comic book that are deep pools are making their appearance. And then like there's a little dragon zord on the ground that they're running over. It's like the little details again. Dude, I'm in. I am so in.
Point, you've got Godzilla, Anguirus, Ibara, Gigan. We're not going to talk about the next one. Hedorah, Megalon, Megaguirus, Kamacuras, Koramangan, Rodan, and Space Godzilla show up. On the villain side, Eye Guy, Rhino Blaster, Bones, which I love that they pulled Bones.
Yeah, dude. Yes.
Bones was just a really good character. I think that Bones was the predecessor to what we got for Rita Repulsa, Rita Revolto. Terror Toad, Pinocchopus, King Sphinx. I mean, everybody knows King Sphinx at this point because he's had the Lightning figure collection. He was one of the original ones, and they've reused him a few times in a few Mighty Morphins. Right, the Mighty Minotaur. We know that's back again. He was in the 30th anniversary. Weave Worm. Like, if we're gonna just throw everything at the screen, go ahead. Weave Worm, Slippery Shark, Snizzard. Which I mean that was a great character with that really long face thing in that, and then finishing off with Grumblebee. There was so many on both sides. Again, whenever we have a crossover that has a versus, who wins? The fans.
Yes. And that's what we get here too. Because as the Dangers is now, really overtaken the Rangers, well, help arrives. Ready for round 2.
The glass
Rising-
shattered.
Yeah, you hear the glass shattered, and sure enough, Godzilla comes in swinging and eradicating everything in sight, let alone you see that he gets a little bit of a power up because, like I say, he starts jumping in, but he's not fully 100% healed. So they make a risky gamble here. And as you see on the screen, that they give him the ultimate power boost. So drawing lightning in the energy to him, they really electrify him, much like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And he is now ready to be...
How many more wrestling references are we going to make tonight?
I'm trying to make any and all wrestling
We're going to have
references.
so many because obviously leading into Wrestling Night Live this Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Nerd Initiative, we're going to have a lot to break down this week. And obviously WrestleMania is still dominating pop culture, much like Godzilla is doing right now in the Power Rangers. It all comes together, folks.
Hey, dropping it from the top rope.
Exactly. But as we see, Godzilla is ready to go for the next round. He's definitely stepping the game up. And especially once he gets that energy in him, you see it's like the mood shifts. And then we get, another great action shot too of, business getting ready to get handled too, because when Godzilla comes in and he's ready to swing, he's got a tag team partner. And just look at this shot right here.
Not only that, but if you think about it, it's not lightning that's powering Godzilla. It's the grid. If you really think about it, it is the Morphin grid itself.
Mm-hmm.
So put that in perspective. The king of monster, morphinized, more phenomenal, more for me, more for you. Yes, please and thank you.
Yeah. Matt, how's your take on this scene right here?
Dude, we have the Megazord and Godzilla side by side. We are alive. The hills are alive with the sounds of my screams of joy, folks.
And there's another cranial blast too.
Yeah. Like you get literally everything here as you see this scene unfold.
Mm-hmm.
And Rita's watching this happen and she's just having a meltdown because like this is the worst nightmare she could think of. She's on the cusp of getting what she's always wanted, and that's absolute power. And yet it's slipping through her fingertips that she has to really call in some backup help. And that's obviously a character that you know all too well, Tom.
Scorpina, absolutely. The quote-unquote girlfriend of Goldar finally jumps in. And what I love about Scorpina, I've always appreciated the fact that when she is in her human form, she is human. When it's make my mother grow, she gets in this really nasty, fugly-looking, humanoid, insectoid form. And it's just... I always liked that. It was that cringe moment.
Mm-hmm.
So it was perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, and in this Godzilla style, to see Scorpina like that, chef's kiss.
Oh yeah, and then you see when Scorpina and company hit the screen there, Godzilla does what he does best. He's eradicating, and he is just laying in all the energy he can right now. That Rita just can't handle it, and she's just literally having the breakdown, rightfully so. Because literally everything she's throwing at Godzilla is just failing. And once it continues to fail, she starts realizing that, well, maybe these aliens that are helping are not exactly on the up and up, so to speak. Like, we're seeing a double cross. I know it's kind of a shocker. But this is what happens in these great classic villainite thoughts.
Hey, guy in the chair, can we put a ticker on here somewhere just for all the wrestling jokes? Like, seriously, come on.
No, we can work that in. Maybe we'll make a no prize for it, or something like that. I shouldn't say no prize. But we'll come up with something. We'll come up with something for that.
I'm telling you, we need a Nerd Initiative strap. I'm just saying.
We'll think of something. Chat, you can throw your picks in chat, super chat. What should we call the official prize, if you will? For something like that. But once we get to once we get to this story here, we do see that Rita calls in a little help.
A little?
Well, to put it mildly, because Tom, who crashes the scene?
3 times the size, 3 heads. It's the king himself, Ghidorah.
Yeah.
Like, 3 is the magic number.
Yep. So as we see, Ghidorah crashes the party. I mean, Matt, talk us through this.
The ultimate final boss of Godzilla, if you will, is here. Everybody's getting involved, and man, just like how massive Ghidorah is, Rita's got that smug look on her face. She thinks she's got this, and we're in for a fight now because Ghidorah is like the ultimate Godzilla villain, bad guy, and just ooh yeah.
Yeah, and especially too, I love on the scene, you can see the visors and you see everybody's eyes just get so big as they're realizing like Ghidorah is here and just like how outmatched they are.
I kind of wish that this scene right here had a little bit, they had a better opportunity for like some really good blurbs. And they kind of just went with the basic, oh my God, it's so big. I wish the Dragon Zord was here. Like, give me something. Like, this is where you got the teenagers with attitude. This is where you could have had a little fun with it. Make it a little quippy.
Yeah. But this is where, like I say, you start going to the end game. And this is where Godzilla and the Megazord have to step up and take out Ghidorah. And that's not going exactly to plan. But meanwhile, on the ship, the side plot that's been going on this entire time is Tommy Oliver. And he winds up getting a little window of escape because obviously they have him in a holding cell. He does get out, and then the Zalian comes up to him and makes him a little bit of an offer. Wouldn't you say that, Tom?
Here, we don't like this bitch. Get rid of her.
You see, he gets his
Condensed version.
Yeah, he gets his morpher back, and he's ready to get into business. So, Matt, as you're seeing this go through, like, do you think this is going to be enough to turn the tide?
No, not really. Not yet anyways. No.
Yeah. I don't, like I say, this was a situation. It's like, okay, it's like the Hail Mary throw in here is like, maybe you could pull something out. Maybe you can help out. But as we see, Ghidorah is handling everybody very easily, but Tommy comes in and then it's almost like, who can come in and make a save? And you see Rita unleashes her monsters to go help too. And I thought that was kind of an interesting thing because even she realizes she can't control Ghidorah.
Oh yeah, she lost control. She
Yeah.
lost complete control. Like if she was okay with Rodan and Gigan and so on and so forth, but once you go that big, no, it is not happening.
Yeah.
Period.
So she's ultimately pitting everybody against themselves in this massive war. And you're just seeing just the actions just unfolding left and right. Tommy winds up jumping in with the Dragon Zord to get involved. And then you start getting, well, the team up of all team up, so to speak, because everybody is morphing together at this point.
Yep.
I mean, and how would you describe this scene, Tom?
I mean, it's fantastic. It's just seeing everything up here on screen. We're like, okay, let's bring it together. We finally get Dino Megazord power.
Yeah.
I'm always a fan of whenever you get a good Megazord combination, because that's a whole other rant down the road. But Mega Dragon Sword, you can never go wrong with. Do I think that Mega Dragon Zord is strong enough for Ghidorah? Still no. They are outmatched for me.
Yeah. Matt, how about you?
I mean, yeah, they're absolutely outmatched, right? I mean, they could barely take on Godzilla by himself, and now they're in over their heads. But this is when the Rangers get to be at their best, right? Like, our heroes are down. This is the cards are stacked against them. So you know something really amazing is about to happen to turn the tide, because that's just good storytelling, and that's just in the script.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, Cullen Bunn really set this up too, especially for somebody being known for horror. And he's excellent when he writes horror books. To see him kind of step into this phase and really give that kind of building crescendo here, that when you get to the final moment where Godzilla now has to step in and you see the ultimate team up of all three, and they unleash their powers on Ghidorah. And then we get the lasting shot here where you just see Godzilla just unleash a roar, and both parties are standing over a defeated Ghidorah.
They cross the streams.
Yeah. Like I say, you just see, obviously, game is over and who wins. But ironically, though, during this moment, Godzilla turns on the Power Rangers. So, Matt, did you see this coming?
Yes and no, because everybody and anything is a threat to Godzilla at all times, right? If he's not the only thing, person, whatever, standing at the end of a battle, then he's going to make dang sure that he's going to be the only living thing standing at the end of a battle. That's just Godzilla 101 right there. So sure, we're on the team now, but as soon as these other jokers are done, it's KO and Randy, right?
Yep.
You know, they go to hit the RKO. He catches on. We're here. This is where we are. We're going to do this right now. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah. I mean,
It's business as usual. It really is business as usual for Godzilla. He is like, okay, Big threat's taken out. What's the next threat? What's the next threat? What's the next? When is it the time that Godzilla goes to sleep? When the job is done.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is something we have to think about because he's king. So he doesn't want anybody coming near him for the throne. So if he sees somebody as a threat, he takes them out. I mean, we always have to remember, I mean, I always hate saying the term anti-hero, but that's kind of what Godzilla is.
I still don't agree that he's an anti-hero.
I mean, well, I mean, if he's going after the good guys, even though they helped him.
He's more instinctual. I will never say that Godzilla is an anti-hero. Never, ever, ever. An anti-hero has to make that choice in their psyche, in their person, to be able to go to make the choices like, all right, I'm going to go do the good thing with the bad reasons or with the bad way of doing it. Godzilla is not an anti-hero. Godzilla is Godzilla. Godzilla is the king of monsters. Godzilla needs to be king. He needs to be number one on top, and he will do whatever he needs necessary. But I don't believe that he does it for the sake of everybody else except himself. And I still don't think that that is an anti-hero thing. That's my rant. Thank you very much.
Matt?
No, I mean, he's not really an anti-hero. I mean, he just kind of is there for one reason and one reason only, man. It doesn't matter if you're good or bad. So I don't really feel like that's an anti-hero
He's there to
thing.
sell tickets. He's there to sell tickets.
He's there to sell popcorn buckets and tickets, baby.
Yeah. Chat, super chat. Throw your pick in. What do you define Godzilla as? An anti-hero or just the king of all monsters, I guess we could say.
He's the king.
I mean, he is king. And obviously when he sees a threat to the crown, he takes them out because he doesn't want to make sure they have any chance of winning. Mm-hmm. So the Rangers wind up going back. Godzilla is standing tall. And then we find out the fate of Rita, because obviously one thing that happens during this entire ordeal is she winds up cracking the artifact that gives her the powers. So she winds up now getting lost in space.
Oh, no.
Different dimensions. She's not in space. She's stuck in dimensions.
Waiting for Tom's reaction.
She was in different. She is in different dimensions, and this is again a great kudos. I don't know if we have the graphic for this for that spread.
The shot, yeah, we have the last page. It's on the last graphic.
Okay, so this is perfect. You know, in 30 years of Power Rangers, there has only ever been 2 separate times where we have canonically figured out that there are 2 seasons in completely different universes. And you see them in this picture. You see the Dino Charge Rangers, and you also see the RPM Rangers. Of course, they've retconned the RPM Rangers are still, yes, in a technical different universe to the fact that blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Vengeance came back, is now the bad guy for Beast Morphers, yada, blah, 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 blah. Hi, Rory. You know, the whole 9. That's cool and all. But this was just perfect. And what's even better is what it can set us up for in the future.
So what you're saying is...
it's a good thing.
Yes. To kind of sum it up.
Yeah, I mean... I'll let you guys do your stuff first. I'm going to go last on ranting on this one still.
Okay. Well, I mean,
how much time we got?
Oh, we still have some time because I mean
we got time.
Yeah, because once we start getting into this, obviously we're gonna give our grades. So super chat, definitely make sure to throw your grades in out of 10. We want to see what you think about this story. So I mean, Matt, going into this book, I mean, going into the finale here, obviously there's a lot of stuff that is good. So why don't you kick off? What did you really love about this book?
Like most of it, right? I loved the immersive artwork. I loved the vibrant color work, the level of details down to the visors and seeing the reactions, to the little nods to the lore behind Godzilla, to the lore behind Power Rangers. There was so much to love about it. I liked a lot about this comic book, and mainly that they stayed faithful and true to who every single character they played with are at the end of the day. The Power Rangers, they stayed faithful to who they are. Godzilla, king of the monsters, right? That's who they were. Rita always has her agenda. They very faithful. I thought Cullen Bunn did a great job with that as far as the writing goes. And man, I loved a lot about this book.
All right, Tom.
Okay. So we're talking about the stuff I loved about this
Yes.
book. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna let you go last for what you didn't like.
Okay. So what I loved about this book is that you had, like Matt said, there was all the great stuff. There was all the characters, all the monsters, all the beautiful fight scenes, all the energies, all the callbacks. It was just pure fun, and I am grateful for that. There's plenty of things that I'm going to knock on about this, but it's only because I am that much of a person that can say things about it with a very unique perspective just from my knowledge. Not in a bad way though either. It's just things that I would have liked to see or might have done a different perspective.
Yeah, I have to say, like there was a lot to really enjoy about the story. I thought Cullen Bunn really captured the essence of the Power Rangers and Godzilla, really setting up for a very clash of styles because they really did not mesh well until the very end. And obviously, with Godzilla being such a unique presence, you can't really tell if he's friend or foe. And you always have to kind of watch that. I really thought they played into that. The Tommy side story was very well done. I thought Freddie Williams and Andrew Dahlhaus really just did such an amazing job with the artwork for this book. Like I say, this book pops on the big action, full panels that we've been displaying all night. I really thought they hit the home run because this really felt like a Hollywood blockbuster film, and that's what you want every time you see Godzilla because it's supposed to be epic. It's supposed to be over the top. It's supposed to be larger than life because that is what you get anytime you deal with a MonsterVerse book or anything in that variation. And like I say, I really thought that the lettering in this by Joanne Natalia just really was spot on too. Like I thought Joanna did such a fantastic job with this because once you capture those roars and that essence, it really just pops. And like I say, this had everything going well for it. This was not over the top in the sense of like a deep script, but it didn't need to be. It just needed to be two fandoms coming together and let's have some fun. So that being said, Matt, what did you not like about
I gotta
this
go
book?
first. All right. I didn't like how
I called
some of the
dibs.
characters were drawn. You know, like Billy kind of looked oddly weird. I think some of like the
Velma.
ratios were kind of off there, regardless of how good the art overall kind of was. Um, I do think that like King Ghidorah kind of went down too quickly. I wish I would have gotten to see more time of that because that is like the true big bad. I feel like they kind of there's Ghidorah's there, Ghidorah's gone. Okay, end of book basically. So I kind of have some issues with that. And then of course we kind of already talked about like where are these Zords coming from exactly? Like we're transported to a different dimension. They're just showing up out of the water. Like did they come this way? I feel like just a little like something could have explained it, but that's just nitpicking, I guess. I don't feel as I'm easy to please, right? Especially when it comes to a big monster book where people are just battling and we're visually pleased and monsters. I came from monsters battling. I got monsters and Power Rangers battling. I'm satisfied. So I don't have as many nitpicks as I know, Tom, who's way deeper in this than I am, for example. Not that that's a bad thing.
Yeah. No. Obviously, Tom is going to come with a different perspective. If anybody doesn't know, like we've reiterated a few times, he is the Power Rangers aficionado at Nerd Initiative. So for me, I really thought it was very straightforward with a lot of the script, which is not anything negative per se, but I would have liked a little more time with some of the setup. Because I think that just with Rita and the Xylians, it kind of was like, okay, we're friends. No, we're not. Boom, done. And just we didn't really get like a big emotional like setup payoff in that aspect. But we didn't really need it for that. So like I say, I can't really say it was a bad thing per se. It was just something like I would like to see, and I agree with it. The Ghidorah time, I really would have liked to see a little more with. Maybe stretch it out just a little deeper in issue number 4 to 5 and really make it feel like a big battle, like a 2-issue fight. Because that's where I think it could have gone.
Agreed.
So that's the only thing I thought they did that I really didn't like about it. But I mean, that's very low on the scale. Tom, the mic is yours.
Yes, it is. All right. So here we go. All right. First and foremost, the IDW Godzilla style is good for Godzilla. Do I think it lend itself well to the Power Rangers design? In some aspects, yes. In other aspects, no. Matt put it perfectly that the proportions on some of the characters were just way off. On top, I mean, if you go back to seeing unmorphed Zach, like honest to God, he's barrel-chested Thor. And again, going back to Velma Billy, that's what that's gonna refer to them because it's Velma Billy. Trini has like the most basic haircut that we've never seen her ever have. Like, I mean, if we're gonna go, never mind. I'm just gonna leave that at that. But like Zordon in the tube, like all this wobbliness, it didn't help. I wanted Rangers to look more like Rangers and Godzilla to look more like Godzilla. Now we are looking at this through the Godzilla lens, so that's where I got to take this perspective from. So I understand that and I do appreciate it. Did we need all that fight scene? I'm down here for the fight scenes. Everybody's here for the fight scenes. But like Ken said, if we took a little bit away from the fight scenes, I think we could have got a little bit more fleshed out story. I'm down for that. Having the crossed beams, like, you hit him this way, I'll hit him that way, just to take out Ghidorah. I would have much rather seen the Dragon Zord at one end, Megazord over here, Godzilla on another one, each hitting a different head of Ghidorah. I think that would make more sense. A 3-on-3 battle, more or less. Or you use Godzilla as your focal point, and you do the from the Dino Megazord or Dragon Megazord through Godzilla as a beam to if we powered him up using the Morphin Grid, use him to power up to take out Ghidorah. That makes sense. Again, these are just nitpicky things. I'm not taking away from the story. I just think that there were some better opportunities here. But in the end, you also have to realize if they got picked up for number 2, which they did, they can address some of these things. They can take a little bit more time, because right now, if you really think about it, it was a really good opportunity and a really great cash grab too for IDW and Boom. Not saying they were doing it for that purpose. They were doing it for the fans. So you didn't need to write the thickest story. It's like watching a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1 episode. It is setup, monster, bad guy, fight, make my monster grow, boom, moral, if there was one. That's it. Mic drop.
But I mean, you hit it right on the head, though. Like I say, going into this, we wanted just the big fights, and we got that. So, I mean, that's the big takeaway from this story. And like I say, you've seen those two fandoms come together and really make something magical happen, and that's why it spawned a sequel. And who knows where we're going to go after here. It is just it goes to show about when you can merge two fandoms in and really take the best of both and put them together and see what happens. You really get something special to pick up at the comic shops.
Very much. Prime example. So look at this through the Godzilla lens. If you look at one of the variant covers by Alex Sanchez, that is looking at it through the Ranger lens. So maybe if they switch art styles back and forth each book, instead of
I am not a fan of that.
That's okay. That's why we all love.
I feel like that'd be too jarring almost, but
yeah,
and that's fine. Maybe I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah. Well, that's why I say we spark up those conversations. Like I say, we can agree to disagree.
And still be friends at the end of the day.
Yes, exactly. It's a weird concept, folks, but we should always try applying that, especially on social media. So that being said, though, we need to give a grade on this. So, Tom, we're going to have you start.
I'm going to give it a solid 9. Like I said, it was only the artwork that detracted for me. Well, again, it was coming through that lens of watching it from the Godzilla lens. Aside from that, everything else is great. It is a solid 9.
All right. Matt, how about you? What is your grade on Godzilla versus the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Volume 1?
Honestly, I was giving it a 9 as well. I loved it. I was here. I got what I wanted out of it. But some of the artwork sequences, some of the fast-pacedness of it, almost like a speed run through certain sequences, kind of took away from a full-out 10. But this is still a really good story. I loved it. It's Godzilla. It's Power Rangers. It's a 9.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, I think for what we got with this book, and like I say, kudos to Cullen, Bunn, Freddie Williams II, Andrew Dahlhaus, and Joanna Natalie. I apologize if I'm messing up the name. They did what me as a reader wants to see when I think Godzilla and the Power Rangers. I want big action. I want larger than life moments, and they delivered on this. Like, it was something that never escaped away. So I have to say, I fully agree with you two. I think this is a 9, because what you go in with this is you don't need such a multi-layered story. You just want to have a good one that brings everybody together, gives them a reason to be fighting. The action is what sells you on this. And this is what takes it to, wanting another sequel to it, which is what we got. because after reading this, I was like, yeah, I want to see where this goes. Because this is one of those fun stories where you're seeing the Rangers get tested at their own game because they usually try being the biggest monster in the yard. But yet, lo and behold, the king of all monsters is saying, no,
This is
acknowledge
my
me.
yard now.
Yeah. And basically showing them that they're not the biggest monster in all the universe. And I think it's one of those situations for them that they'll take away from this, that when we saw them at the end of this book, they were not exactly celebrating the win. They were just happy they survived.
You just picked on some of the biggest monster in the universe. I didn't mention this in those Shattered Dimensions. Draken was there.
Yeah. Like I said,
That's a monster. Can
there's
you
a-
imagine?
there's a lot to go back and see about this, and I definitely have to agree with our guy in the chair there. If Godzilla gave the monsters a brain buster, it would have been amazing. If we had some wrestling moves in there, that
Or
would have been insane.
chops.
Yes. But like I say, that's why we got a sequel out right now, which issue number 1 just came out at the comic shops by IDW Publishing and Boom Studios. So you definitely want to make sure you're swinging through and checking that out.
And check it out. It has White Ranger power. That means we're going to be referencing Power Rangers from season 2. Now, whether or not that's going to be pre or post power transfer, I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't know if it's Jason still as Red Ranger or Rocky as Red Ranger. So it's either it's the Stone Canyon Kids or before they went off to the Peace Summit.
Well, that's why you have to go check the book out and go find out. And then maybe we'll just have to recap volume 2 after it's done.
I don't have any paraphernalia for that one. Oh, wait, I got Saba. I'm good.
All right, we'll cross that when we get to it. But like we alluded to, you can go pick that up at the comic shops. The QR code is right above me, actually. So you definitely click on to find your local comic shops, because tomorrow is New Comic Book Day, and there is a loaded lineup at the shops this week. So we're going to start off with Matt. What are you talking about this week at the shops? What are you recommending?
We're bringing the boom from Boom Studios, and we are going to go ahead and make sure you pick up Uncanny Valley. Dude, Tony Fleeks, Dave Watchter. It's really goofy. You kind of start off with Oliver, who some things are happening at school, and then next thing you know, you're transported into like a cartoon come to real life. Boom does these kind of stories really well, and this one seems like it's a lot of fun, a lot of adventure, a lot of just like heart that is going to be buried in there. And man, it was awesome seeing the different blends of artworks and things like that. So trust me, you're going to want to pick up Uncanny Valley #1 from Boom.
All right, excellent pick. Matt, that was
Thank
great.
you.
Tom, I'm so used to going in opposite order. Tom, what are you picking up this week?
It's Power Rangers.
Yeah, let's be honest.
MMPR, the return from Amy Jo Johnson. She is writing something completely different, and it's something that I didn't know that I needed, but now that I have it, I want more. It's a great perspective on older Rangers. We're not talking like we're getting Old Man Logan out of this. We're getting a very unique story from a perspective of someone who's actually worn the spandex and has probably thought about this for a very long time, where they're going to go with. Ken knows I was iffy about this at first, but I am hooked. I am interested to see where this goes. And trust me, there is family drama with this new mama.
All right. And for me, one of my favorite series out at the shops is coming back with a monster issue. A new artist has taken over the book, though, and that is Transformers #7, coming out of the epic first arc. And this book has delivered on every level.
Look at that Starscream.
Yeah. And just what happens inside, trust me, Transformer fans, you will not want to miss this. You definitely want to keep this eye out for it at the comic shops. Like, it is one of my favorite series out right now. Daniel Warren Johnson's writing on this. Like, he has really captured that essence of Transformers, which, I mean, being somebody that watched the cartoon all the time, it really has taken me back, and it comes with such an edge to it. And I really enjoyed that. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, at the comic shops this week. Because if you want more recommendations, nerdinitiative.com, starting at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Matt's review of Uncanny Valley #1 will be leading us off tomorrow.
Yes.
And we have reviews dropping all day through the mid-afternoon. And it is crazy, the lineup this week. So shout out to the bullpen for that. You want to make sure you scan that QR code. Make sure to save that RSS feed. And definitely check it out. And let us know what you're picking up at the comic shops this week. Because it's New Comic Book Day. We're less than a month away now from Free Comic Book Day.
And we're going to have
May
a very
4th.
special episode.
Yep, we have a very special plan lined up because there's a lot of things in the works here at Nerd Initiative. So we definitely want you to make sure you're following along with that. So before we get out of here, Matt, why don't you let everybody know how to get in touch with you and everything going on with Hops Geeks News?
Yeah, man, come find us, Hops Geek News, on any podcasting, any social media platform. That's where we are. Lauren and I will be back with another live Cantina Hour Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are not into wrestling, which you all should be watching Wrestling Night Live, you can happen to come find us, where I believe Janelle from Nerd Initiative is going to be coming to hang out with us and talking some shops.
yeah.
So
Nice.
check that out if you want. She does a lot of really great things. If you want more Godzilla, we released an episode not this past week, but the week prior, where my 8-year-old son Oliver came on. He actually corrected me on some things in regards to Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah,
Shout out to
Dad.
he
Great
did,
episode,
man.
too.
He corrected me on some stuff. Shout out to him. He held his own. He's very proud of that episode. Check that out. And then this past week, we released an episode on Ghost Machine Day, the principles of necromancy, and minor threats, the fastest way down. If you are heading to your shops, Geiger, Redcoat, and Rook have all sold out. And
Yes.
they are furiously getting the second orders in ASAP. So be sure to be on the lookout. If you have not picked any of those comics up, do so immediately.
Yeah, definitely want to shout out everybody over at Ghost Machine. Instant sellouts right now for Redcoat, Rook Exodus, and Geiger #1s. Absolutely killing it right now. So shout out to the entire team over at Ghost Machine for that. That is not an easy feat to come right out the gate, but man, those books. Whew. Tom?
I'm here on Nerd Initiative. You can see me every Tuesday, 8 o'clock, and I do stories and articles, and I got things happening. I do. You just gotta stick around here, and there's the QR code. And I'm just gonna be, I'm all morphed out, man.
Yeah. No, this episode took a lot out of Tom.
I'm out. My morphin, my power crystals.
Yeah, fair enough. So we'll get into mine, and we'll take it home. For anything that is the ODPH, you can click on that QR code. We here at Nerd Initiative love QR codes, so you'll see a lot of them. So make sure you click on them. Go check out everything going on with me and the rest of the team over at the ODPH. 2 new episodes are dropping this week. Plus, we have a lot more things in the works, and obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on here at Nerd Initiative that I can't get into right now. So you definitely want to make sure you're following everything going on at Nerd Initiative. Go click over to the website, sign up for the newsletter, stay on top of all the plans going on for a very, very big 2024 at the home of pop culture positivity. And because we have to, because it's in our contracts, we also have to plug about go and get some merch. So if you want to go get some merchandise and support the brand in that manner, click on that QR code, go get a hat, go get a shirt, sweatshirt, hoodie, like I said, go get whatever they got there. They got so much stuff there. There's turn a page gear I hear, so we'll have to go check that out. I also know there's Wrestling Night Live stuff. Speaking of which, every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, go join myself, Rich, and new guy Nick as we break down the latest and greatest in the land of pro wrestling. Got a lot of stuff to talk about WWE this weekend. AEW, I'm sure will get its way into the chat. So will GCW. It's going to be a loaded episode. So if you're into pro wrestling, you definitely want to go check that out. But before you get out of here, there's a homework assignment that we have to give you each and every week. And that is to make sure on YouTube, especially because there's exclusive content that's coming there and not going anywhere else. You want to make sure you hit that subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications, and tap that thumbs up to let the bosses know you like the programming you're seeing on Nerd Initiative and you want to see more of it, because we have a lot of fandoms coming and we have a lot of other things in the works that we can't talk about. I wish I could. I really, really, really wish I could.
It tickles me pink.
It does indeed. But we'll be talking about that at some point. But that's why you got to make sure you follow now and don't miss a minute of the content. So that being said, when you're at the comic shops and you have a great issue in your hands, such as Godzilla versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Volume 1 by IDW Publishing and Boom Studios, and you see somebody struggling to find their copy, hand yours off to them. Tell them to turn a page. We'll see you next week.
May the power protect you.